Hey friends, this is Nestor, and I've been reading this book called Cybernetics. Right here. It's one of the books my mentor recommended to me, and I'm just basically done with like the first chapter, and it's just amazing. Just wanted to share this with you guys. It's so like mind-opening, right? And some of the stuff that I've been learning actually is how your self-image, how it's so important when it comes to success, and when it comes to anything that you do. It has to do with your self-image, right? I started thinking about that, and it makes sense that the self-image, and what it talks about is basically saying that if your self-image is not basically at the same level as what you're trying to do, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try, basically you might accomplish some stuff, but you're not going to accomplish your full goal. You're not going to accomplish exactly what you're trying to accomplish if it doesn't fit with your self-image. So for instance, like myself, I'm always been a little bit overweight. I don't know, some people might say a lot overweight, right? But I've always been maybe like 30-40 pounds overweight of what is supposedly what I should be, and I've been always been trying to lose this weight, and I'll get into these exercise modes where I'll go out running and exercising, and I'll start losing some weight, but all of a sudden, for some reason or other, I'll stop and I'll start gaining it all back, right? But the weird thing is that I will always stay at the same level. I've never been more than what I've always been since high school. So since high school, I've been fighting this overweightness, these pounds that I cannot get rid of, right? But when I was reading this book, I started realizing it's like, you know what? It's because that's how I think about myself, right? Ever since I was in high school, I'm not a big, I don't look big, but I've always weighed about like 220, 230. You sometimes you really can't tell that I weigh that, but I weigh that. And so the weird thing is that I've always thought about myself as a 220, 230 pound kind of guy ever since I was in high school. And and it's I'm 35 right now, so high school is long gone, and I'm still 230. I'm still right there. I'll go down to like 220 something, and if I go a little bit below that, that's when basically somehow I stop, and I'll start gaining back to 220, and then I'll go to like between 225, and then I'll go to like 230. But then when I pass 230, for some reason, something clicks in my mind. Every single time, something clicked in my mind. Where it's like, whoa, I'm like 235, and I'll start exercising. Bam, and I'm like, oh, good, I'm looking good. I'm losing weight. But then for some reason, when I go below 220, I don't know, I can't stay there. I'll just like move back up. So that it's just weird how that works, right? It's just weird how that is. But for when I remember when my daughter was born, right, I told myself, I don't want my daughter to know me at this level of how I weigh. So actually for 2 straight years, a little bit more than 2 straight, like 2.5 years, I was running, going to the gym. I was doing it maybe like 5 days a week, and I really wasn't eating correctly, but because I was exercising so much, you could tell. If you see those pictures, back, it was like, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago. If you see them, you can tell that my face was thin. Everybody was telling me how much weight I was looking. But the weird thing is that when I looked at the mirror, I still looked at myself at the same way. My self-image was still at the 220, 230. And even though I lost all this weight, and people were telling me how good I looked, they could tell, I couldn't tell. It's just weird how I couldn't tell. And the only way I noticed was when I stopped exercising, I gained the weight back. And then like 6 months later, or like a year later, once I was starting to look how I looked at those pictures, and I was like, oh man, I did lose weight. I started noticing how, like, wow, I noticed what everybody else was talking about. I was like, oh my God, why did I stop, right? So it's still the same thing, right? I'm still struggling with the same thing after all these years. But now I understand that with this book, Cybernetics, that it all has to do with my self-image. So even though I tried, even though I exercised, I ran, I mean, I was back in high school, I was in the track and field and cross country. I mean, I was like running all the time, doing all these things, and I still weighed 220. I still weighed that weight. I mean, I ran the marathon twice, you know, weighing 220, you know. So it's just unbelievable how the self-image, what you think about how you're supposed to be, that's exactly how you're supposed to be. So now I totally understand that I need to start changing my self-image. I need to start changing how I think about myself, both, you know, physically and mentally, and also thinking about the same way of wealth, right? I'm exactly at the same wealth that I always thought I needed to be. So I need to change that. I need to change that image of myself, of like how much money I'm worth making, right? So I do encourage everybody, every single one of you guys, to read Cybernetics and start understanding about the self-image. I mean, this is just chapter 1. I haven't even done the whole book, right? So I can't wait to read the whole thing. But I was just so excited about that, what I'm learning right now, and I just wanted to share with you guys because it's just changing my life. I mean, I'm starting to know how things work. You know, it is something about just clicking. It is emptying your cup and putting some new information. But guys, I mean, I'm telling you, it's simple. I mean, I've been telling everybody now that it has to do with a mindset. I mean, before I thought, you know, oh, you know, money makes money, this and that, and success and blah blah. But it's not. It's simple as a mindset. And sometimes we tend to not believe this, that it's just a mindset, only because, you know, it's like, how can it be that simple, right? How could it be that simple that if I just change my mind, it works? The problem is that it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing as me exercising. I start exercising, I start losing weight, but for some reason I can't, right? And then we're like, I forget this. It's not about a mindset. It's not about how I'm changing my mind. But the problem is that even though I tried, even though for those 2 years straight I was exercising, even though that all throughout my high school I was in track and I was in cross country, the reason I couldn't do it was because I didn't change my self-image. I really didn't change who I thought about myself. I changed my activities, I changed what I was doing, but I never thought about myself. I never changed my inside. So if I change my inside, I should be able to change my outside. So, you know, right now that's what I'm doing. I'm totally trying to change my outside. I'm sorry that this video went a little long again, like all my other videos, but it's just that the passion that I have for this, and the passion that I have to give values to you guys, because I believe that if I'm learning something, I want to share it with you guys. I want to share it with you, because if you can get the same value that I am getting and maybe more, then, you know, then if I can change one of you guys' life, I mean, for the better, that's what it's all about, right? I mean, that's exactly what it's all about. That's what my mission is in life, is to change and to help as many people as I can. I truly, honestly do believe that, and that's what I want to do. So that's why I'm sharing these videos. That's why I rambled on with these things, but it's because I want you to get the same message that I'm getting right now. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to this video. Thank you for not, you know, clicking on that little X. And like always, if you guys want to share this video with somebody, go ahead. I would love it if you guys share it, because my message would just travel way longer. It would just go farther, my message. And then I'm gonna be able to help way more people with your help. By you helping me sharing this video, it will just help that more people. Okay, guys, with that, I leave you in mind. With that in mind, it's all about your mind, a mindset. Change your self-image, and then you will change your life. Thank you, guys. This is Nestor signing off.